Hello. Today, we will explain the game Honor of Kings, the lanes, the roles of each team member, and all the phases of the game. Honor of Kings is a MOBA game, meaning it is a 5 versus 5 battle. However, every MOBA game has its unique mechanics, and Honor of Kings is no exception. The 3 main lanes. The map consists of 3 primary lanes. Farm lane, also called the Gold lane, Mid lane, Clash lane, also called the XP lane. Let's go over them one by one. Mid lane. This is the most crucial lane at the beginning of the game. It is the shortest lane and connects both bases. This lane is mainly for mages because they have high early game damage. The minions in this lane have higher physical defense, but mages can clear them quickly. Farm lane. This is the lane for marksmen, also known as ADCs. It provides a lot of gold, allowing the marksman to buy items quickly. It is also the safest lane in terms of terrain compared to the others. Clash lane. This is the lane for fighters. It is more dangerous than the farm lane because it has multiple bushes where enemies can set ambushes. It provides extra experience points, helping fighters level up faster. This lane also has a teleport gate, allowing the fighter to move to other lanes when needed. The jungle and roaming roles. Jungle. The jungler does not have a fixed lane. They move around killing jungle monsters. At the start of the game, the jungler is usually busy farming jungle camps for gold and experience. Their main job is to gank lanes and help teammates secure kills. Roaming. Like the jungler, roamers do not have a fixed lane. They move between lanes and jungle areas, protecting teammates and providing vision. Unlike other MOBAs, roamers in Honor of Kings start by helping the mage reach level 2 quickly and protecting the jungler in case of enemy invasions. Roles in the game. Each player has a specific role that defines their responsibilities in the match. Mages. The mid lane is ideal for mages because they have the highest early game damage. At the start, the mage must clear the first wave of minions and the small jungle creep to level up quickly. With the help of the roamer, the mage should provide vision for the jungler near buffs. If possible, the mage and roamer can steal the enemy jungler's buff or disrupt their farming. Once the mage reaches level 2, they should rotate to the marksman's lane to assist in fights. If the marksman is safe, the mage can help the fighter instead. Marksman. The farm lane is designed for marksmen to safely farm gold and scale into the late game. Marksmen usually have low early game damage and are easy to kill. Their main goal is to collect as much gold as possible and avoid aggressive fights. They should also kill the falcon in their lane, which grants extra gold and experience for the team. It is important to avoid pushing too deep without support, as this makes them easy targets for ganks. The jungler, mage, and roamer will rotate to assist in fights around this lane. Fighters. Fighters are just as important as mages and marksmen. They can sometimes carry the game if the jungler and roamer struggle. At the start, the fighter should clear the first minion wave, small jungle creep, and the teleport buff to gain experience and gold. Since fighters are often isolated, they must watch the map carefully to avoid ambushes from the enemy jungler and mage. Junglers. The jungler is the core of the team, making their role one of the most difficult. It requires quick reflexes and decision-making skills. Junglers follow a specific farming path based on the game situation. They usually start with the blue buff, clear nearby jungle camps, then move to the red buff. After that, they rotate to the marksman's lane to assist in fights. Sometimes, junglers help the fighter's lane first, leaving the marksman's lane to the mage and roamer. Junglers do not benefit from shared gold after the second minute, so they must farm well and buy at least 3 items before engaging in fights. Their responsibilities include securing dragons, lords, and eliminating high-damage enemies like mages and marksmen in team fights. Roamers. Roamers are the brain of the team. They are responsible for team coordination and protection. Roamers are divided into 2 types, supports and tanks. Supports focus on healing and utility, while tanks focus on soaking damage and initiating fights. Their early game job is to protect the mage and jungler and secure vision in key areas. Roamers also disrupt the enemy jungler, preventing them from farming smoothly. They rotate to help the marksman and fighter, depending on where pressure is needed. Their ultimate job is to protect the strongest teammate and ensure they can deal damage safely. Game phases. Now that we have covered lanes and roles, let's discuss the 4 main phases of the game. Phase 1. Early game. This phase starts at minute 0. Each player moves to their designated lane and begins their role. The mage and roamer go mid, the marksman goes to the farm lane, and the fighter moves to the clash lane. The jungler starts clearing jungle camps. The main focus during this phase is farming and avoiding unnecessary fights. Phase 2. Mid-game. This phase begins at minute 4. The first dragons appear, and players start contesting objectives. The fighter, mage, and roamer rotate to the marksman's lane to assist in fights. After that, they return to their lanes. The jungler moves to the dragon near the farm lane, while the roamer provides protection. During this phase, teams focus on destroying enemy towers to gain map control. Phase 3. Late game. This phase starts at minute 10. Enhanced dragons spawn, providing stronger buffs than regular dragons. The Dark Slayer also appears. Controlling these objectives is crucial. The marksman and mage help the jungler secure the dragon, while the fighter and roamer protect them from enemies. The Dark Dragon grants minions additional strength and releases a powerful aura that clears minions in a chosen lane. Phase 4. Endgame. This phase starts at minute 20. The Storm Dragon appears, signaling the final stage of the match. At this point, both teams have reached their full power, and minions become more resistant. If the game reaches this stage, teams must focus on securing the Storm Dragon. This dragon releases powerful minions in all lanes and increases the team's damage and movement speed, making it easier to end the game. Thank you for watching this video. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share to help new players understand Honor of Kings.